cook you another delicious meal this week. Now this week is all about kiddos. Now we don't have kids ourselves, but I do know quite a few people and we have quite a few friends that have kids. And one of the main questions that we get is help us with some meals and some different things that I can cook at home for my kids that they will eat and that has some veggies hidden inside. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna cook some delicious, healthy chicken nuggets, baked chicken nuggets with a homemade sweet potato fries. So the first things I'm gonna go through is all of our ingredients. I know it looks like a lot, but you can kind of pick this apart. If you wanna just make the chicken nuggets, great. If you don't wanna make the sauces, you don't have to do that. But I wanted to show you some variety of things. So we've got a lot here, but I'll break it down. So we're gonna work with our chicken nuggets first. So I've got some ground chicken. Typically I would go for some dill pickle juice instead of this Wickles, but I had Wickles on hand and I thought, why buy something when I already have it? So that's the beauty of it. You can swap this out if you want to. I've got some unsweetened cashew milk here. You can use almond if you want to. I recommend cashew just because it's a little bit thicker and it's one of the lower calorie nut milks. I've got some spinach, just some regular old spinach, baby carrots. You can use whole carrots if you want to. 2 eggs, we've got some almond flour, and then some salt and pepper. That's all we're gonna put into our chicken nuggets today. Then I've got 2 sweet potatoes. Depending on the amount of people you're feeding, you may wanna use more sweet potatoes, but I'll show you how you can adjust that. And then we're gonna use some coconut oil and ghee and a little bit of avocado oil for cooking and prepping. And then we've got our ketchup and our ingredients for the ranch. So we've got several different things here, but this is all I'm gonna use for both of those sauces, and then we'll be good to go. So I'm gonna show you a few different options of the sauces that we can make, and we are gonna get started making these delicious chicken and nuggets tonight. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put together all of the ingredients that we need for our actual chicken nuggets. We're gonna start with the veggies. Now I did have this bag of baby carrots. You can use this. You could also buy a bag of organic shredded carrots if you wanted to, and so they're already shredded. But I wanted to show you a few options. But I also have really large carrots because we've been doing some homemade juicing lately. So we're gonna use this instead, and I'm going to shred it myself. So I'm gonna cut this down just a little bit because I don't wanna hold the entire carrot at one time. And the shredder that I have, they came in a pack of like 6 different attachments on here, but I'm gonna use the smallest grate that I could find. And I'm just gonna go down the side of my grater here. And you can see they're kind of smaller, really grated carrots. So you want them to be kind of small because remember, we're making chicken nuggets with hidden veggies. And I know some kids that if they see any veggies inside anything, they're gonna go, oh, absolutely not eating that. So you wanna make sure that it's nice and shredded really fine so that they can't find it. They just go, these are good chicken nuggets. So that's what we're working on. So I'm gonna do this entire carrot and then we'll see about how much that makes and we'll go from there. And I'm just gonna dump them right on inside as I go, which this looks like it's gonna be a pretty good amount. So you might wanna do a couple of large carrots, but if you have shredded, then you don't even have to worry about this step. You just dump it right on inside your mixing bowl. So we've got all of our carrots all shredded up. Now this was 1 whole carrot. Now that was a large carrot, but I just used 1. So judge them out according to what you want. And I've got this cheesecloth. You can buy cheesecloth just about any grocery store. I don't think Aldi carries it, but I do know that Publix and Walmart, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, they all carry it. So you can take it inside, cut off just a small amount that you need. And I'm gonna come over here to the sink. And what I'm gonna do is you wanna try to get as much juice off of the carrots as you can, because you don't want all of that juice inside of your chicken nuggets because it'll make it watery and then they won't bake correctly or evenly and they'll fall apart. So you want to try to get as much as we can. That was actually a lot of juice that we got off. So try to squeeze that really tight and then I'm just going to dump it right on back inside of my bowl there, and then we'll start on the spinach. Let me kind of wash that off my hands. Oops, almost. Wash that off my hands and we'll move on. Now if you look down inside that bowl, it's kind of shredded to really, really fine now, and there's not much juice inside of there. That's exactly what we want. Now, we're gonna take our spinach, and I'm gonna take about 2 handfuls, maybe even 3 handfuls of this, which this is a smaller container, but that's, probably not gonna need all of it. And I'm just gonna roughly chop this. I don't have any rhyme or reason of exactly how I want it done. I just want it chopped fairly fine. Because again, we're trying to hide these vegetables and greens inside of our chicken nuggets. So we wanna make sure that it's not whole pieces. You don't want them to bite in and find a whole piece of spinach inside. So I'm gonna roughly chop this. We're gonna put it in with the carrots, and then we're gonna throw our ground chicken inside, a few other things, and then we'll be ready to roll up our chicken nuggets. So we've got our spinach all chopped up nicely fine. Now I do want to remind you that if you are not on our newsletter, if you're watching this directly from YouTube, go ahead and log in to our website, or just follow right on over there. Scroll down to the bottom of the front page, and you'll see where you can sign up for our newsletter. That is where you can get the full ingredient list and the full how-to with directions on this recipe and every recipe that we actually post on our feed for our channel here. So go ahead and make sure you get on that, because you'll get all those ingredients. Now, we've got our spinach, we've got our carrots all put together inside there. They're nicely fine and chopped really well. Now we're gonna take our chicken. Now this is ground chicken, so you wanna make sure you get nice ground chicken. It kind of looks like ground turkey. That's what we want. We're gonna dump it right on inside there. We don't want the paper though. Take that away. And we're gonna take a little bit of black pepper. Now this is black peppercorn. I'm gonna do about a teaspoon. Perfect. Move that out of the way there. Now we're gonna put a little bit of salt, about a half a teaspoon of salt. This is Sicilian sea salt, but you can use whatever salt, table salt, if you want to. And we're gonna take our pickle juice, or if you wanna get crazy, use wickle juice, you can do that too. I'm gonna put 4 tablespoons of this right on side. Try not to get the seeds in there. 1, 2, 3, last one, 4. Perfect. Now I'm gonna take my hands. You can use a spatula if you want to, but that's no fun. So I'm gonna take my hands and I'm just gonna mash all of this together. Now, because this is ground chicken and it's not like ground beef, you know how ground beef kind of holds on to everything. It's not gonna hold on to everything like we really want it to. So what we're gonna do is add a little bit of almond flour to get it to stick together a little bit better. And we're gonna add that in with it. So I'm gonna take about a cup. Now, I'm not much of a measurer. I like to eyeball things, but you're gonna use about a cup. See how much that does. We're gonna mix it together and get it, whoops, losing some. Get it nice and mixed in. We might need a little bit more, so just judge it as you go, because it is kind of nice and wet inside. You don't want it to be super wet and soggy. You want it to be a little bit firm. So you might need a little bit more as you go. So what we want, once we get it all mixed together, is you want to be able to grab a small little amount and make a little chicken nugget of whatever shape you want it to be. So we might need a little bit more of our almond flour, and you might not. So that's about what you want. And then we're gonna bake these. So we're gonna go ahead and get our oven preset. So we're gonna set the oven to 375. We're gonna get these chicken nuggets all put together on a baking sheet, and then we're gonna bake them up. So here we go. So we've got our chicken, or our chicken nuggets and our veggies all put together. We've got a little bit of almond flour in a bowl, and I've got got 2 eggs in a bowl here that I'm gonna whip together. First, I'm gonna go ahead and spray my cookie sheet. Now, if you have a non-stick cookie sheet, that's great. I do, however, still recommend to put a little bit of fold down just to make sure nothing sticks. All right, so we're gonna grab a whisk and get our eggs all whipped up together here. And we're gonna bake our chicken nuggets. We're not gonna deep fry them because we don't need the extra fat in that. Got our eggs all whipped up and ready to go, and it wants to hang on to the whisk. So we are gonna take these little chicken nuggets here. Now, I already have this first one, and we're gonna kind of put them in a little bit of a bath. So we're gonna start with the egg, and I'm gonna do this with my hands, and I'm gonna dip it down in the egg mixture, kind of roll it around a little bit, and then I'm gonna take it, put it inside the flour, and roll it around. Make sure it gets good and coated. And that is pretty good right there. So I'm gonna make sure it's coated all the way around. And then I'm gonna flatten it out just a little bit, kind of mold it to whatever shape you want it to be. And I'm gonna lay it right on down. That's gonna be our first chicken nugget. So I'm gonna do this for every single one. We're gonna lay them out on our cookie sheet here. You make them as big as you want to. I wouldn't make them too big, but make them as big as you want to. So I'll show you one more, and then we'll get the rest of these all done, ready to go in the oven, and then we'll start on our sweet potatoes and for our fries. And I don't know about you, but I don't think there's anything better than a good homemade sweet potato fry. You like sweet potato fries too, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
Love them.
We love those. We make them a lot. All right, so I've molded this one. I'm gonna put it in our egg bath. Make sure you drip the rest of it off because you don't need a ton of it on there. Take our almond flour. I'm gonna roll it around. You're gonna need more than just a little bit of almond flour. I wanted to show you the first couple first. Perfect, I'm gonna use my dry hand for this. Roll it around, shape it to whatever you need it to be or whatever you want it to be, and lay it flat, just like that. Now we're gonna do the rest of these, and then we'll come back and show you exactly how they all look. We're gonna pop them in the oven and start on our sweet potatoes. So we got our chicken nuggets all done. We've got them all laid out. So this was a pound of ground chicken. So we made 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. So almost 30, one shy of 30. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these in our preheated oven. So come right on over here. Our oven is at 375. So I'm just gonna pop them right on in. There's one. There's 2, and I'm gonna bake these for about 15 minutes, see where they are, and then we might have to give them a few more minutes, but I'm gonna start with 15 minutes at 375, and we'll go from there. So let's get our timer set, ready to go. Perfect. Now the next thing we're gonna work on is our sweet potato fries, some of my favorites. So we're gonna wash our sweet potatoes first. And a lot of people like to take the skin off of their sweet potatoes, and some of our recipes we do. We like to take the skin off of the sweet potatoes, but that is one of the most nutritious parts of the potato. So I'm gonna leave the skin on. It's totally an optional thing. So if you wanna take it off, you can take the skin off if you like to, but I'm not going to. And I'm gonna wash the same knife. That way I don't have to reuse or use extra dishes. I can use the same dishes throughout the entire recipe. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just cut the ends off. Both of these sweet potatoes, because we don't want the ends. Gonna put that out of the way. And we'll start with our smaller sweet potato. Now, lots of different ways that you can do this. I'm gonna slice mine in half. And because sometimes they're a little bit larger, I don't want to cut my fingers off, so I just kind of hammer it down like that. And now, since I've got them in half, I'm gonna cut in half one more time, and then I'm gonna lay those over. Cut this one in half, and then I'm just gonna slice down until I get them to the size that I want them. So about like that is what I'm reaching for. You can do whatever size you prefer for your fries, but this is just what we prefer because it kind of gives it more of a potato feel when they're, or a sweet potato fry, regular fry feel when they're this shape. So feel free to do them however you like. So I'm gonna take these, I'm gonna slice the other sweet potato and do the same thing with it. I'm gonna throw these on top of my cookie sheet here, and I'm gonna spray it first really well, nice and generous. And I'm gonna throw these on top, and I'm gonna start spreading them out once I get both of these sweet potatoes done. So I'm gonna cut this one, we'll lay it out, and then we'll go to our next step. So now that our sweet potatoes are all diced up, I'm gonna use a little bit of this coconut oil and ghee. You can use just coconut oil if you want to, just ghee, whatever you like. I like this one. We actually just found this one on a whim. During quarantine, we found that they were all out of ghee, all out of coconut oil, and this is the only thing that we found. And if you look down inside, like, it has chunks of ghee and the coconut oil. So that's kind of what we like, because it gives it that extra taste of a little bit of both. So I'm gonna just sprinkle that over. Oops, that's a big chunk. I don't want the big chunks. Just kind of sprinkle that over the top of our sweet potatoes. I'm gonna use my hands, and I'm just gonna toss them up just a little bit all the way around, because I want every single sweet potato to get a little bit of the oil on there. And then we'll spread them out as flat as we can. Perfect. As flat as we can. You may need to move some around a little bit. And we're gonna bake these in the oven with the chicken nuggets. Typically, I like to cook these on about 400 degrees, but it's gonna depend on your oven, first of all, and then second of all, we've got our chicken nuggets in there, but we wanna cook everything kind of at the same time. Now, you can add a little bit of garlic powder if you want to, a little bit of salt and pepper. Personally, I just prefer just to make them just like this, because once you get done, we're gonna have some sauces to dip them in, and you don't need extra flavor. You just need the sweet potato, the ghee, and the coconut oil is gonna give you all that you need. So totally optional. Now we're gonna pop these in the oven with our chicken nuggets, and then we're gonna start making our sauces while these cook. All right, we are gonna start making our ranch dip first. So these are all the ingredients that we need here. So I've got everything all set out, ready to go. Can I move that out of the way? Got some lemon as well. So we're gonna start off with 1 full cup of this 0% fat Greek yogurt. Now, we prefer Fage. You use whatever you like. We like this one the best because of the ingredients, and it's non-GMO. There's no added sugars. 5 grams of sugars total, 18 grams of protein, and it's 90 calories for 3/4 cups. So this is one of the reasons that we love it, because 18 grams of protein, that's a lot of protein. Really good stuff. And this is actually almost done. So I'm just gonna use the rest of what we got down in here, because it's just a little bit left. Perfect. So we got our yogurt. Now what we're gonna do next is we're gonna take our garlic powder. We need a teaspoon of most of these things, but teaspoon of garlic first. Let's slide that down in there. That to the side. We need a teaspoon of our parsley. So it's really simple. We're just throwing it all in one bowl together, and then we're gonna mix it all up. I'm gonna use 1/4 of a teaspoon of this salt, because I don't, oops, not gonna fit in there. So I don't need much salt. There we go, about 1/4 a teaspoon of salt. We're gonna do a whole teaspoon of onion, or you could use chives. I would recommend to use chives. Didn't have that on hand, so I'm just gonna use regular onion, but it's an option for you. Didn't get quite enough there. There we go, perfect. Now we're gonna take our dill weed. Take that off so we can get a teaspoon of that. Perfect. And then we've got our rice vinegar next. So we're gonna take a teaspoon of that. Perfect, maybe a little bit over because I spilled a little much, but that's okay. Not gonna hurt anything. And then we're gonna add about 1/2 teaspoon to a teaspoon of black peppercorn, and 1 whole organic lemon, so the juice of that lemon. Make sure you don't get the seeds in there. I always like to squeeze it a little bit and then remove some of the seeds, but just hanging your hand right over the top. See, I lost one. Usually will catch most of that. And we're just gonna squeeze that lemon from both sides, or from both cuts of the lemon, I should say. Okay, do the other one. And then we're gonna whisk all of this together to mix it up. And that's gonna be our ranch. And it's gonna make a good bit of ranch, so you can actually use this later on. Pop it in the fridge, put it in a mason jar if you've got an extra mason jar, an extra just little container. Wash the rest of that a little bit off of there. Wipe my hands off, and then we're gonna mix it together. And then this is gonna be our ranch sauce. Pretty sure I got lemon everywhere. Probably could have used a little bit bigger bowl too, but that's okay. You could also put this in a mason jar and shake it up really well. You could even put it in a blender if you wanted to, or if you have like one of those little magic bullets, that would work also. Wouldn't recommend a smaller bowl, but that's what I did, so that's okay. It's gonna work out either way. And let's taste it, see how it tastes. Because if it needs anything extra, you can always add more. Tastes like ranch. Really, really good. All right, so I'm gonna put this in the fridge until we're ready to eat, and then we'll have everything with our ranch ready to go. So our chicken nuggets are all done. I'm gonna go ahead and take these off of the cookie sheet. Let them rest on a plate. Oh, that one got stuck, that's okay. And I still got my sweet potatoes in the oven because they weren't quite done yet. So since I put them in after the chicken nuggets. So I'm gonna leave those in a little bit longer. We did end up cooking the chicken nuggets for a solid 30 minutes. So we added another 15 minutes onto it because you wanna make sure that you have a meat thermometer, I can't even say the word. You wanna make sure that your chicken gets up to 165 degrees at least. So we made sure of that before we take them off. And then we just wait on the sweet potatoes at this point. So I'm gonna take these off the plate, we wait on those, and then we'll be ready to grill. So our meal's all done. We got our ranch, a little bit of ketchup if you want to, and our sweet potatoes, sweet potato fries, and a little bit of deliciousness with hidden veggies and our chicken nuggets. So that is our meal for the night. It's gonna be delicious, perfectly plated meal just for a kiddo. Add some extra greens if you want some salad or something else. And if your kids don't like greens, don't worry about it, because it's inside your chicken nuggets. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We hope you make this meal. If you do, please tag us on our Instagram handle as well as our Facebook handle. And of course, comment down below if you do actually try this and you enjoy it and your kids like it. I'd love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on it. If you know something that'll make it better, let us know. We'll be happy to redo it again and make it a little bit better. But if that is it, we're gonna sit down and eat our kid-friendly meal tonight as adults without kiddos in the house. So we will talk to you very soon. Have a great week, everybody, and fuel up.